This is the first part of the review of first semester algebra for the fall. Right here it says what expression is shown below. All it's asking you to do is tell what is this. These are -4 and this is plus 4x. So let's just remember that this right here is an x. If it was colored in, then that's like colored in with all black, that's a -x. Just like this right here is a -1, and if you had just a regular square, it was a +1. Next one, so simplify the tiles. That means cross out the zero pairs. Cross out the ones that make 0 right here. A +1 takes away a -1. A +1 takes away a -1. Now, these two cannot take away any of these bigger ones. They have to be the same shape. So right here I've got an x takes away a -x. So now you're going to write what's left. Right here I've got -2, and right here I've got plus 2x. Next, solve for x. Well, one way you can do this is you're going to go and you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. And so that means you're going to flip it over. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Now, by flipping it over, you can cross out the 4's and the 3's cross each other out. You get x equals. Now, right here, okay, I will multiply across the top. I get 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 3 is 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Your answer is 8. Another way you could do this is to go through and go in the calculator. Go to y equals, okay, and put the left-hand side into y1, the right-hand side into y2. So you would get your calculator, and you go to y equals and put in there 3/4, 3 divide 4, whoops, x into y1, and into y2, you'd put the other side, which was 6. And now I press second graph. I'm going to look and see where y1 and y2 are the same. See right here at 8. Whoops. y1 and y2 are both 6. That would mean that I am correct. Next one, you could do the same thing by putting the left-hand side into y1, right-hand side into y2, and pressing second graph, and looking to see where the one spot where y1 and y2 are the same. You can do that. Now, the other way, I'm going to do it by hand. What I will do is look on the left-hand side right here. I'm going to put my x's together. I get 7x minus 3x, that is 4x plus 8 equals 28. Well, from here, I'm going to subtract 8 from each side. I get 4x equals 20. I'm going to divide by 4, and I get x equals 5. So there's my answer. And when you went in the calculator, you would have found x was 5, y1 was 28, and y2 was 28. Next one. I'm going to draw a line at the equal sign. Right now I have something, you look on the left-hand side, and I have a parentheses. Right here we're going to do the distributive property. So take 3 times 4x and 3 times 2. So I got 3 times 4x, which is 12x. 3 times 2 plus 6 equals 14. Now from here, we're going to subtract 6 from each side. I've got 12x equals 14 minus 6 is 8. Now when I go and I divide by 12, now x equals 8 over 12. Now we need to reduce this. We can put in the calculator, you can go in there and put 8 divided by 12, and then math, enter, and then you reduce this to 2/3. So that equals 2/3. You can also put it in the calculator the way we talked about. But this one's a little more difficult because it's a fraction. You'd have to do the trace where you press second trace. Oh, okay, let me go back a second. Go and put this into y1 and the right hand side into y2, and then you'd press second trace 5, and that's the intersect one, and you press enter 3 times. And it would probably give you 0.66667, and you'd have to know to reduce or change that back to a fraction. Next one, let me solve this out by hand. First off, what do I do with the 3? Do I multiply by anything? No, the 3 stays out here by itself. The 4 is what's outside the parentheses, so I take 4 times x, 4 times 2. Well, that's 4x, and 4 times 2 is 8, and that equals 19. Now I will look on the left-hand side. I'll put these numbers together. I have 4x plus 11 equals 19. I'll subtract 11 from each side, and you'll get 4x equals 8. Divide by 4. X equals 2. Next one. It says, what are the x and the y intercepts on the graph? Well, let's see here. We know that the x is the horizontal right here. Here's where it crosses. This is my x-axis, and that is over here at 3, 0. My y-axis, let me go back a second. My y goes up and down. So my y-axis, y-intercept, it crosses right here. Well, that is 0, -2. Next, what is the slope of this line? What I would do is I would go and find my y-intercept first. Normally, there's an easy y-intercept. And then the first thing I would look for is an x-intercept. And it looks like it's right here. Now, you can go up and over and figure out what our slope is. But right here, I go up 2 and over 4. Remember, it is rise over run. You have to go up or down, and then the bottom numbers to the right. So I have 2 over 4, and that reduces to 1/2. We know it is positive because from left to right, the line is going up. The next one says, what is the y-intercept of the line which contains the points in the table shown below? Well, we got to find the equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a table a little bit bigger for me. I'm just going to choose 2 of the points. You don't really have to do all of them, because now I just need to find the equation of the line. Remember, this is x, and this is y. So I have delta y. The change in y right here is plus 4. Delta x is plus 1. Delta y over delta x, 4 over 1 is 4. Now this is my slope. So you're going to put your slope in your table first, which is 4. Then you're going to put your variable, put your x, and I have 1. In this case I have 2. All right, so now what you're going to do, you're going to multiply these two together. 4 times 1 is 4. What do you need to add or subtract to 4 to get to 2? -2. Well, look here. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. This is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 0, -2. Number 10. Roses cost 25 cents each plus $1.50 for shipping. Write the equation. Well, let's think about this. What is the thing you pay for one time? You only pay for the shipping one time. This is going to be your constant. Now over here, it says 25 cents each. That's what the roses are, 25 cents each. Okay, this is going to be my coefficient. That's what I'm going to multiply by. So I'm going to have y equals 0.25x plus $1.50. Okay, what if I asked you, what is the x? What is the numbers that we're putting in here? Like if we built a table right here, and I had x and I had y. If I made x 1, 2, and 3, what would these numbers be? These x's are the number of roses. What is the y? What is it we're putting in here? See, right, for one rose, I have $1.75. And right here, I have $2, $2.25. What is this? This is going to be my total cost. Can you write a sentence using the phrase depends on? How would that look? We need to remember that you want to, with that idea, you want to look at the idea that y depends on x. So in this case, we have total cost depends on the number of roses. Well, now I'll ask you, which one of these, the x or the y, what is the independent variable? X is my independent. Y is my dependent. Bro, what else could we talk about? X instead of independent, well, instead of, along with independent, would it be the domain or the range? X is the domain. Range is the y. You need to remember that as well. Number 11. It says graph the line whose equation is 2x minus 5. When graphing, the first thing you do is the y-intercept. So this is step 1, the y-intercept. So I know that I have x and I have y. So I'll go on the y-intercept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and put a dot. Now the second step is my slope. First off, my slope is positive, so I know I'm going to be it's going to be an increasing line that's going to be going up. My slope is 2. Anytime you have a whole number, you put it over 1. The top number tells you to go up, the bottom to the right. So I'm going to start at the y-intercept. I go up 2 to the right 1 and put a dot. Up 2 to the right 1 and put a dot. Up 2 to the right 1 and put a dot. Up 2 to the right 1 and put a dot. What if you wanted to go backwards? Well, you could go down 2 and to the left 1, down 2 and to the left 1. Then you will connect your dots to draw your line. Next, it says which function below will have the steepest graph? Well, what makes something steep? Steep is when it's more up and down. So when it's flat, when it's less steep, let's talk about this. A horizontal line has a slope. Oops. Oh, my pen's freaking out here. A slope of 0. The steeper it gets, it moves away from 0. So the negative and positive only talks about direction. What we need to figure out is just looking at the numbers. What is the number that is the farthest away from 0 out of all these slope numbers? Well, out of all these, I know it's not 1/2. Those are close to 0. Is it 3 or is it 4? 4 is farther away from 0. So the steeper the line, the farther, whoops, the slope is from 0. Let's try the next one. Right here it says to simplify. Okay, be very careful this with order of operations. The first thing you would want to do is what's up here in the top. So I'm going to go up there, and 18 minus 2 is 16 divided by 4 plus 8 times 5 minus 1. Next, we're going to go and do what's in the parentheses right here. And you actually could do this too at the same time if you wanted to. I have 4 plus 8 times 4. Next, I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to do 8 times 4 I have 4 plus 32. My answer is 36. Next, it says which of the following is not true about the line graph below, sorry. The first thing says that this shows an increasing function. Well, from left to right, what's my line doing? My line is going up. So if it's going up, it's increasing. So this is correct. I'm looking to see what is not true. It says the y-intercept is 0, -1. Wait, there's the y-intercept. Remember, I have x, then I have y. The y-intercept is actually 0, 1. Let's check if these other ones are right. It says the x-intercept is -1, 0. Yes, it is. It's right here. So this one's correct. The equation of the line, you start at 1. The slope is up 1 and over 1, up 1 and over 1. So this is correct. So my answer would be B, because this is the one that is not correct. Next, which one of the following is not true? Very important to see this right here about the line graph below. The graph, it shows a decreasing function. Is this line going down? No, it's straight across. So wait a minute, that could be it. This one says the y-intercept is 0, -3. There's my y-intercept. Well, that's not my y-intercept, that's the origin. All these lines kind of go together. My y-intercept is down here. That is at 0, -3, so this is correct. The y-intercept, or the x-intercept is none. Does it cross the x-axis right here? No, it does not, so it does not have one. And the equation of this line, yes, it is y equals -3. So the answer is A, because that is not true. This is a horizontal line. It's neither increasing nor decreasing. Okay, number 16 said, how would the graph of y equals x be affected if it was changed and written into this equation? Well, first off, what would the +6 do to it? Okay, and if you don't know, one thing you could do is go in your calculator and let's put in there, let's see, y equals x. And then the other one, 1 divide 8, x plus 6. And then we can press graph. All right, now if you really, here's a little trick too. If you want to, go up to that first equation and go over to the side, press the enter button once. It'll make your linear parent function darker. See, it'll darken that line so you can tell the difference. Well, first off, what I see is the +6 it translates my line up 6 units. So the +6, which is, what is that called? It's called the y-intercept. Moves my equation, moves the function up 6 units. Well, what is the 1/8 doing to it? Well, look at it. Is it the same steepness? No, it is not. The 1/8, which is the slope, makes the line flatter. Or you could say less steep, because it makes it closer to 0. Number 17, how would the graph y equals x be affected if it was changed to y equals 3x minus 5? So again, you can go in the calculator, put in there 3x minus 5, and press graph. There's the linear parent function, y equals x. All right, now what has the minus 5 done? It has moved it down. It has translated it down 5 units. The minus 5, which is the y-intercept, that translates, moves, the equation down 5 units. Well, what is the 3 doing to it? My line, is it flatter like the last one? No, the number has gotten larger. So the 3, which is the slope, has made the function steeper. Number 18. Be very careful on these instructions on your test because you want to make sure it says underline the dependent and circle the independent. Now remember, independent is your x, dependent is your y. Independent is the thing that happens first. Okay, what type of car I get is a function of how much money I make. Well, the first thing you need to do is make money. You have to have money before they will let you buy a car. And then you get to figure out what kind of car. Now, the next one right here, your 4th period class determines your lunch schedule. Well, what happens first? You are going to get your 4th period class, and it is going to give you your lunch schedule. There's the dependent. Next, a carpet cleaning company charges $2 for every square yard of carpet cleaned, plus a fee of $42. Write an equation for the charge C in terms of the number of square yards N, and then it's asking what is the independent or what is the dependent variable. Okay, well, the cost is going to be, it says $2 for every square yard. So I'm going to write 2N plus, it's going to be a one-time fee of $42. So there's my equation. My dependent variable is the same as the y. Well, if I rewrote this and had this, the y would go here and the x would go here. So I know the dependent variable is the total charge. Number 20. The amount that a video repairman charges for his services is based on the number of hours that he works. He uses the formula C equals 13 plus 18H, where C represents the total charges and A represents the hours worked. What is the independent variable? Independent is the X. See, now if I had rewrote that, I would have put the Y above it and the X would go here. Well, look here. The X and the H go together. What is the H? H is the hours worked. So my independent variable is going to be the number of hours. 21. It asks, tell whether or not the data represents a function, yes or no. What does it mean when it's supposed to be a function? Well, when you're looking at all these numbers, it means your X number cannot repeat. So let's look here on the first one. My X is 10, X is 9, X is 8. Yes, because the X numbers do not repeat. Okay, well let's look at letter B. 2, 3, and 7. Yes, same thing because the X numbers do not repeat. Letter C. Here's a -1, here's a -1. No, this is not a function. No, because there are two -1s in the X column. The next one, look here. I've got, this means 1, 4 and 1, 5. See, if I took this right here, this mapping, and wrote it into ordered pairs, 1, 4, 1, 5, 2, 6, and 3, 7. Okay, well, right here, all of these X's. Do any of the X's repeat? Yes. So this is not a function because the 1 repeats in the X column. Now when you have a graph, the reason why it can't cross with the x numbers can't be the same is the idea with a graph that it has to pass the vertical line test. It means if I draw a vertical line, does it only cross through my function once? Yes. And if it only crosses through once, that means there's only one x number. Okay, there's not a repeat of that same x number. I do it again over here. Same thing. So yes, this is a function. This one, when I draw a line, these x numbers, they cross quite a few times. So no, this is not a function.